Hey, what's going on? Strat Soldier here for the podcast In Force. The only podcast with me, the Strat Soldier, looking at the market through the eyes of the Strat. How you guys doing? How you doing out there? We got one more week left till Christmas. You better be getting out there getting them presents. Don't you get triangled out. Don't you get triangled out. Find them good Christmas presents. Find the good ones. We've been doing this. This marks one whole year of In Force. I started doing this back in January, and now it's December, so that's awesome. It's been interesting. It's been a really interesting year, to say the least. Wow. SPY started inside year at 382. Let me make sure I got that right. Let me make sure I got that right. SPY started the entire year. We opened at the entire year. Very beginning of the year, we opened at $383.33. These are yearly charts. You can see we closed Friday at 469. Now, that does not mean it was an easy road. That does not mean it was an easy road. We can go back to the monthly, we can go back to the quarterly charts since we started with the year. We'll go back to the quarterly charts. You can see how we started moving up. We started moving up. We were trending up on the quarters, but again, not an easy year. We were trading sideways. If you remember, go listen to those very first episodes. We were trading sideways January, February, March, and then finally we got a 2 up on April, but May kind of came back down, and then it went hammer and then right back up. So it's starting in May, June, July, and then August, September, October to the lows. 3 months straight to the lows. People got chewed up, and then November, December, straight back to the highs. It's been odd. It does say that to the least, but that's that consolidation inside year. Inside year. Yes, we did trade things as the year was inside, but I always say don't trade things as they're forming inside bar, and that's why, because it gets messy out there. It gets really, really weird. It really does. So what do you do? What do you do when you find out you missed a lot of the trend move? You know what I mean? Let's just say it's your first year with the Strat. Maybe second. You're like, man, I did it again. I missed the moves. I missed this. I missed that. Don't worry about it. There was a lot of news this year. A lot of news that wrecked. A lot of setups. A lot of gap ups. A lot of gap downs. You still had the war in Ukraine. You still had a lot of geopolitical things going on, all right, that really messed up seasonality and a lot of what we were expecting to see happen. We had a lot of really good earnings reports. NVIDIA was one that just kept rocketing to the highs. I remember this was a really big story with NVIDIA because I remember they were talking about Kathy Woods cutting this thing and calling it a loser, in the second quarter. They're like, this thing's a loser. We're done with this. We're done. But if you look at the quarterly charts, again, not everybody trades the Strat, but if you look at the quarterly charts, we had a 2 up, 2 down. All right? And that sucker went in force. The 2 up went in force in the first quarter at 189.21, all right, 189.21 to the highs, all right. We knew why we wanted to be in NVIDIA, all right. Now that is on that quarterly chart, you'll see for the fourth quarter that is a shooter, but we did go 2 up in the very first quarter of the year, all right, in NVIDIA. That was interesting, all right? But that's funny how Kathy Woods, even the pros, I say that not to make fun of Kathy Woods and say she doesn't know what she's doing, all that other stuff. I'm not here to make jokes about that. Not on that anyway. I just want to talk about how, Even the professionals, even the pros miss it. You know what I mean? Even the pros. Everybody loves to talk about Jim Cramer and how he gets it wrong all the time. So if these people out here that are really good at what they do, they're pros, they do this all the time, they're professionals, you know, this is their full-time gig, and they mess it up, you know what I mean? You're an average retail trader. You know, you're going to mess it up too. You're going to miss those crazy moves to the upside or to the downside. Again, we had AAPL, Apple. Apple was going great all year. And then you had that really big drop off with the news about banning iPhones in China. And that was a really crazy move because, you know, it was all the way back up to 189. You know, the very next day, September 6th, they get the news about banning phones in China and banning their use. 2-2 reversal back down on the day. It dropped hard, all right? From 188, it closed that day at 182, gapped down the very next day to 177 and continued to the lows, all right? Gapped down and opened up at 175, all right? 175, and then all the way back down to 173, and then closed that day at 177, and then chopped around and went down lower, all right, with the rest of the market. So it wasn't easy, okay? Again, it wasn't easy. A lot of people, a lot of day traders and the weekly traders were on that kind of stuff, but again, it's okay. It's okay if you missed the biggest these moves. You can't beat yourself up about missing these things because unless you're even if you're on top of all of it, you know, you still have to get in and you have to get out of these positions. You know what I mean? So don't beat yourself up. So what are you going to do next year? All right. Well, the first thing you can do is go to thestratsoldier.com. Go check out my execution course. It is on sale right now, 25% off. The promo code is Santa. Santa, go check that out. And also my Strat trade checklist course. Go check that out. Talks about trading time frame continuity. That also is on sale for 25% off. Type in promo code Santa. Go check that out. Get prepared for 2024 because we are possibly going to get, if we don't go to outside year this year, not if, but we're really close to doing that, going back to all-time highs this year in SPY. So what I should say is we could possibly get a 2-up on the year next year. Okay, if we get a scenario 2-up on the year next year, you want to know how we want to trade that. You want to know, all right, what scenario am I looking for? All right, am I going to go 3-2 up? You know, are we going to go inside and chop around in this range? What are we going to do? You know what I mean? What are we going to do for next year? Hopefully we go 3-2 up and it goes up. It is election year next year, and the only problem is there's no more targets to take out. All right. So is there going to be profit taking this week, you know, and next week, the last 2 weeks of the year, to bring some of this down so we have some targets to go after in January? Not sure, but I do know based on seasonality, January for SPY. Let's do this. SPY in January, they usually take profits, all right? They usually take profits in January. February, definitely going to the lows. February is like, okay, all right, guys, we know what's going on. We're taking our profits here. And that's based on the last 6 years, all right? The last 6 years. We can go back a couple more if you want to. We can go back 9 years. Let's make it even. Make it even now. Come on, make it 10 years. The last 10 years, January, red. February, you know, that changes the data just a little bit. September, red for the last 10 years. And that same thing happened this September. You asking me what I'm going to do next year in 2024? I am not trading in September. I am not trading in August and September. Those were messy months, and they always are messy months. There's low volume. People are on vacation. I said it this year. I am not going to trade anything over the summer. What did I do? Traded over the summer, right? Traded over the summer. There was some really good moves to the downside. Netflix to the lows. The CEO talking smack. You had Roku, big big moves to the downside in Roku and other things. All right. Again, we can go look at those charts from August, September, October, red. All right. So this year, next year, I am not trading in August and in September. I'm going to just sit there and wait it out. Wait it out. And I'm going to wait for those actionable signals in October, because November blasting. All right. November, 90%. Next year, 90% of this stuff is green on the year. All right. Or green to the upside. All right. In that month. So next year, I definitely want to, I want to be ready. March, April, May, June, July, these months, you have earnings, you have, people trading. So, and then they got vacation in August, September, and then people coming back and making their money back in October, November, and then somewhat in December, some profit taking too. So we are going to be on it. What do I mean by we're going to be on it? We're going to be ready. All right, we're going to be ready. We're going to make some plans. We're going to do things different. All right. I'm not going to make the same mistakes as I made in 2023 and 2024. I didn't make the same mistakes in 2023 that I made in 2022. Right. So, and then the same thing back in 2021. We did things different. I did things different. All right. Next year, I do want to say next year, I'm not going to have one of my biggest assistants ever out here helping me, the world's greatest assistant, Rob Smith. I will not have the world's greatest assistant, Rob Smith, helping me out. And that's not to downplay what Rob did. He used to say that all the time. When you learn the strat and we work together and I know what you're doing, Rob used to say this all the time. When you learn the strat, you know what you're doing, I become the world's greatest assistant, because he used to just call this stuff out all day long. And that was fun. It was really fun with Rob. And so we're not going to have that this year. Next year. We're not going to have that. So it's going to be interesting. 2024. The very first year without Rob. So Rob Smith. So shout out to Rob Smith. Shout out to everybody who's still trading the strat and keeping Rob Smith's name alive, okay? Keeping his name alive. We've all, we've learned the strat, we trade the strat, and then, we've all, developed our own little ways of executing the strat. Some people, with Sarah, the strat sniper, and Alex options, they like those that domino effect. They want to take those actionable signals on the smaller time frames that are going to trigger the big time frames. That's the strat all day long. All right, you got me, who wants to trade things that are already in force and then look for signals that are going to reconfirm what's happening on those higher time frames. That is also the strat all day long. You got other groups. You got 8x. 8x trades, they like to they stay in, they take those strat signals and they stay in them until they get invalidated on they wait for the close. They wait for the close of that time frame that they are in, which is unique, because Rob always told us to manage our trades using the smaller time frames. All right, but 8x trades, they're like, you know what? We're in this thing and we are not getting it out until that bar closes, and it closes below the 50% of the previous range. That's unique for them. You got other guys out here. You got Clark Griswold. He's out here trading the strat, mostly on the 5s and 15s, doing great things, and also the 30s and the 60s. Doing great things with him. He's doing great things out there. You got. Let's see here. Any other strat groups out there? You got. There's a few out there right now. So find one that works for you. Find one that works for you. Come over, see me at that's stratsoldier.com and learn the strat and be ready for 2024. All right. We want to have a plan. We want to do things different next year. All right. We want to do things different. Now, I will say that it's not as easy as the charts make it look. I will say that it's not as easy as the charts make it look, because remember I was talking about this situation right here in November, when October, the very first week of November, when things went straight to the highs like this. Is this an actionable signal? No, it's not. All right, that's the weekly chart. All right, dropping down to the daily chart. Let's drop it down. Let's go all the way back here. All right, is this an actionable signal? No, it's not. This is just a scenario: 2 down and 2 up. It's a reversal. Yes, it's a reversal, but it's a 2 down, 2 up. Boom. We had a lot of news, but the things reacted differently. All right, hold on now. Listen to me. Things reacted differently here. All right. Fed was talking. They didn't care. Markets going to the highs. They said they're going to, there was another. You had CPI, PPI. Things were usually going down during those news days. Market didn't care. Things going to the highs. All right. And then here's the final week of November. All right, no. Here's the third week of November, still going up. And then they're like, okay, it's got to be profit taking because it's the end of November, and then we'll see what's going on in December. It did consolidate, not a lot going on, but then it still went straight back to the highs. Why do I point that all out? I point that all out because of time frame continuity and change. All right, I talked about this in my webinar that I just did last Wednesday with some students in there. It was great. We had a good time. But the continuity changed. Continuity changed from red on the months, on the weeks, on the days, to green on those 60s, green on the days. All right, green on the days, green on the 60s. All right, that all started with a gap up. Let me see if I can get all the way back in there real quick. Quick. But that all started with a gap up on October 30th that ended as a shooter on that first hour. 2-2 reversal down. Shooter and force were like, what's more downside? I know it's more downside, but but it changed. All right, that second hour, 12:30 Eastern Standard Time, continuing moving to the highs. October 31st, continuing to the highs. There's some consolidation, but it's continuing to the highs. All right, we had NVIDIA hammer and force on this October 31st, that went in force to the highs, that started their race to all-time highs again. So I point that all out. The fact that there's, in time frame continuity, we talk about change, and there was change on the 60s. There's conflict on the 60s that turned the days green, that eventually turned the week green, and it went 2-2 reversal back up on the week. All right. And it was easy for it. I held off. I backed off a lot. I'm like, I got wrecked in October. That was supposed to be green. Wasn't. What's going on in November? This thing is blasting on the news, on what was supposed to be bad news. So, but eventually, if this thing went full time frame continuity to the upside when it went, and then it went 2 up on the month in November at 430, 438, 437, 437. All right, full time frame continuity to the upside in November. So what would I be doing in 2024 that's different than 2023? Definitely acknowledging what's going on in time frame continuity and change. All right, and change. I think that's something that I can improve on. I've been doing this for about for 4 years now, and in 3 years with Rob, and now 4 years with Rob, and 2 years working with him directly, at Sepia Group, and I didn't have Rob out there to call that all out, at the end of this November, December. I didn't have Rob to say, this is change. This is change. This is full time frame continuity to the upside. Yes, I'm seeing it on the charts. Yes, I'm acknowledging that. Yes, I did take trades in that. I had Apple, CRM, Amazon, but I could have gotten to a lot more. I had AMD, but I could have did a lot more, is what I'm saying. Just based on what we've been through, and what I've seen. So how am I going to improve next year? Definitely acknowledging time frame continuity and using those broadening formations to look for those plays. You know, it was interesting to see that, you know, flip in November, December. You know, it's been easier in December because you know it's there, but November, when things started changing, boom. You know what I mean? Time to start working this stuff. Time to go bigger. Time to definitely work these as hard as possible and stay on them. If you're in something good, stay on it. Stay on it. Because in October, in August, September, October, it was hard. You work something to the upside, you can keep it for a couple days, and then hits magnitude, you got to take your profit. Same thing for the downside. It was really choppy. It was really choppy in a lot of things. So even though it was still moving down, But then you had that change in November, and things full time frame continuity to the upside. So in 2024, definitely taking more advantage of that, and taking more advantage of what I see other stratters doing. There's a lot of people trading the strat differently, and I've learned a lot of those skills, which is great, which is really cool. So I definitely want to use a lot more of my repertoire and what I am, but definitely sticking on what I'm good at. But then seeing what other people are doing and learning some more with the strat. It's been an interesting year. So we will see what they have for us next year. Hopefully it is awesome. So for yourself, look over your trades. I'd suggest downloading all your statements if you can from your months of trading this year, and plotting your trades on the charts. Look at time frame continuity. Look at actionable signals. Look at the broadening formation. Where were you getting in when it was consolidating and chopping around? Were you actually holding on to winners? Were you getting out too quick? Were you holding on to losing positions? You know, those are things you need to answer. Those are questions you need to answer. And then also remember what was happening during that time. All right. Again, it's not as easy as the charts make it look. So, did you have a lot of stuff going on personally? Were there things going on at work? Were there things going on, just things around you? You know, was there a lot of stress? Maybe you're working, double shifts and you weren't getting a lot of sleep. Maybe, I don't know. But those are things you want to remember. So don't beat yourself up when you're looking at these charts going, oh, I didn't get this, and I didn't get that, and I didn't do this, remember, hey, this is when work was really stressful over the summer. I had no time to really look at charts. Me personally, we got news about Rob back in July, August time frame, and that was tough. That was really tough, and kept on trading through all that stuff. Just kept on trading and just kept on pushing forward because we got to do this. We got to do it for Rob. You know what I mean? So did I really take a break during those times? I need to assess that for myself as well. A lot of different things happening. So it's not as easy as the charts make it look. Be careful out there. Let's have some plans for 2024. Assess what we're good at and what we're not good at, and stick to those things that we are good at. All right, we didn't come here to lose. We did not come here to lose. So, and we want to trade the strat without getting wrecked. I solely believe we can do that without getting wrecked. All right. So if you're losing money, stop trading for a little bit. Wait for your money to settle. Wait for your mind to settle, and then get back to it. All right. So 2024 is going to be an awesome year. It's going to be great. It's going to be election year. It's going to be the very first election year I think I've traded. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we don't get stuck inside. There's a scenario 3 on the charts and the yearly chart. So we definitely don't want another inside year. We don't want to get stuck in a mother bar situation. So remember, there's always going to be news. There's always going to be things happening out there, but based on the strat, we're going to be looking at that time frame continuity. We're going to be looking at where we're at in the broadening formation. We're going to look for those actionable signals, and we're going to adapt to what's happening out there. All right, we're going to adapt. The swing traders got turned into day traders, and then the day traders got turned into swing traders at the end of the year because things just kept going to the highs and trending so strong. So gotta adapt. That's all I got for this episode of the weekend of the wrong show. That's all I got for Enforce. All right, that's all I have. Let's see what they got for us in 2024. I want you to keep studying. All right, keep studying. If you have not got my Strat execution course, go check it out at thestratsoldier.com. Again, it's on sale. Type in promo code Santa for 25% off. Same thing with the Strat execution, the Strat trade checklist course. Go check that out. It's also on sale. Type in code word Santa. That'll get you 25% off there. It's going to be a good year in 2024. It will be, all right, because we are learning, all right, and we are going to execute effectively in 2024. So, and if you need to learn how to trade options, go check out Stat Trading. Go check out the bio, click the link there, type in promo code StratSoldier, and you will get a discount on the very first month there. This is the Strat Soldier for the podcast Enforce. Thank you so much for being here with me all year. It's been great. We're going to have another great year next year. Let's keep it rolling. Let's create those winning positions, add to them, and defend them with tight stops. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.